Yeah, thanks for joining in. I want to take you through today's event. Like you heard in the morning, the court ruled that the heavy deployment at our president's home, Bobiwine's house, it should be removed. However, that has not been effected. And of course, we are going to go through each and everything plus the current situation as it is as of now. I want you to first hear what happened at the court.
So this morning, court gave a ruling in the application which was brought by Honorable Kyagulanyi and Mrs. Kyagulanyi regarding the restrictions on their personal freedom. Regarding Mrs. Kyagulanyi, the Attorney General conceded that they have never restricted her freedom, of course, which was a lie, given that she has been stopped from going out on several places. And when it came to the matter of Honorable Kyagulanyi's restrictions, we remember that the state had said that they were holding him because of the violent nature and the problems regarding the NUP party that he hates. We remember that the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Edward Ochoma, had shown an affidavit saying that they have information that he's training militants, that the party is training militants, and that Honorable Kyagulanyi always tends to be violent. We are glad that court has emphasized the constitutional freedoms that are enshrined in our constitution by saying that the restrictions on personal freedom are so important that if you have to restrain someone's freedom, especially if you're saying that you have grave allegations against them, like they're alleging, they should be taken to court and charged in a proper court of law. So court found that the indefinite restriction on Honorable Kyagulanyi's freedom is unlawful. Court ordered that the government, including the state agencies, police and army, should immediately stop those restrictions, which means that they should vacate Honorable Kyagulanyi's private property. If they have any allegations or if they have any cases against him like they're alleging, he should be subjected to the due process of law by taking him to police station and being charged properly. Of course, court also ordered that the government should pay the costs to Honorable Kyagulanyi and the wife for this application. So we applaud the court decision because it emphasizes some of those personal liberties that are strictly enshrined in our constitution. And court said that the restrictions on personal freedom are so important that restrictions on them should not be casual, and the restriction on someone's liberty should not be indefinite. That is why we welcome the ruling and we applaud, and we hope that the state will go ahead to comply.
All right, that's what happened. And of course, from there, we expected this heavy deployment of the military, the army, the police. Man, there is too much. We expected those people to be, moved away. But as we speak now, they are still in place. They are still in place. Actually, when you visit Al Jazeera, I'm going to give you two articles from Al Jazeera and CNN. Al Jazeera, here is Al Jazeera. It says, Ugandan court orders police to lift Bobiwine's house arrest. Court tells soldiers to cease surrounding the home of the opposition leader, whose house arrest has drawn condemnation. It continues to say, a Ugandan court has ordered security forces to cease surrounding the home of opposition leader Bobiwine, who has been under house arrest since the January 14th presidential election. His lawyers says troops have blocked the 38-year-old pop star turned politician from leaving his house in a suburb of the capital Kampala since he voted in the January 14 election, where he ran against long-serving incumbent President Yoweri Museveni. The judge ordered that the state and its agencies should immediately vacate his property, and his right to personal liberty should immediately be reinstated. Lawyer George Musi told Reuters on Monday. Museveni, 76, who has been in power since 1986, was declared winner of the poll with 59% of votes versus 35% for Bobiwine, who had for years denounced corruption and nepotism in his songs. Bobiwine rejected the result, alleging fraud, which the government denies. Ugandan authorities have said Bobiwine can only leave his home on the outskirts of the capital under military escort because they fear his presence in public would incite rioting. But The judge said in his ruling that Bobiwine's home is not a proper detention facility and noted that authorities should criminally charge him if he threatens public order. Police spokesman Patrick Onyango said he had no immediate comment as the ruling had not been received. There was no immediate reaction from the government or confirmation from the court. US Ambassador Natalie E. Brown had tried to visit Bobiwine at his home, drawing an accusation of meddling and subversion from the Ugandan government. So basically, that is what Al Jazeera had to say about this current situation. And did you hear this very well? That Ugandan authorities have said Bobiwine can only leave his home on the outskirts of the capital under military escort because they fear his presence in public could incite rioting. That was the article from Al Jazeera. That is it. So in brief, the court has ruled that the security, forces, the heavy deployment at Bobiwine's house, they should be, they should leave because that's not a gazetted detention facility. However, there is something here I want you guys to pay attention to. That, let me highlight it for you. Ugandan authorities have said Bobiwine can only leave his home on the outskirts of the capital under military escort because they fear his presence in public could incite rioting. So this statement speaks a lot. It implies that Bobiwine is not going to be allowed to go, in brief, to go outside Kampala or outside Magere without military escort. In brief, they are going to replicate the same kind of nonsense they have been doing during campaigns when Bobiwine was being escorted by over 30 police patrols and a mobile prison. That's why I keep saying this is just getting started. It is not yet done. It is not yet over until it is over. You see why these guys are too fearful of Bobiwine? Simply because he won the elections. He won the elections. You all witnessed massive rigging that took place in different regions of this country that we have been sharing to you on those social media platforms. They switched off social media simply because they did not want this to go viral. They switched off the internet because they did not want people to connect and communicate during that time. So, coming out to say that Bobiwine, for him to go outside of Kampala, he has to be escorted by military, police and the army. That is another kind of episode that we should wait for, because this is how they are intending to treat Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. That's why I'm saying this is not yet over. It is just getting started. Let us go to CNN and we see what they wrote about this. They said Uganda court orders security forces to leave Bobiwine's home. And here it says, of course, this photo, you remember, that's Bobiwine and his wife Barbara Itungo Kyagulanyi, pictured at home on the January 19th during their ongoing house arrest with his wife's 18-month-old niece, who has since been removed from the house arrest, Wine told CNN. Yeah, you remember, I gave you that update when that baby was evacuated. So, CNN on this issue of the court said, the Ugandan High Court has lifted the house arrest of Bobiwine after security forces surrounded the presidential candidate's home for 10 days, his lawyer said Monday. The court held that the freedom to personal liberty is too crucial that it should not be restricted casually or indefinitely, George Musi told CNN over the phone. Justice Michael Elubu, who heads the court's civil division, said that if the government had evidence against Wine, he should be charged in court and not held unjustifiably at his home, according to Musisi. Wine, a popular singer, was the main opposition frontrunner in the presidential elections held on the January 14th, and his home has been surrounded by military and police since the elections ended. Uganda's longtime leader, President Yoweri Museveni, was declared winner of the elections for a record 6th term by the country's electoral commission. Wine rejects the election result, saying he has evidence of fraud and intimidation. He also posted on Twitter last week that no one has been allowed to visit his home, where he was stuck with his wife, Barbara, and her 18-month-old niece with no food. His wife's niece was later safely evacuated, Wine told CNN, after lawyers were briefly allowed in to remove her. This is a tweet from Joelo. It was saying, breaking, the High Court has issued an order directing police and military to vacate Honorable Kyagulanyi's premises. So CNN continues to say, soldiers remain at the compound and Uganda's military has a history of defying court orders, Mosisi said. He added that they would petition the court for each soldier that remains to be held in contempt. A spokesperson for the Uganda police force said the officers still at Wine's home will vacate the premises. We are a law-abiding institution and do respect the High Court ruling, he told CNN on Monday. Wine's team will decide in the next 24 hours whether they will appeal the results of the elections. Wine's team had hoped to decide sooner, but have been unable to meet because of the house arrest, Mosisi added. The deadline to do so is on February 2nd. Museveni's senior press secretary Don Wanyama said on Saturday that Wine has no evidence vote rigging took place. Uganda has processes. Evidence of rigging is tabled before the courts, not CNN, he added. So that is also from CNN, but there is something I've noted here, what the spokesperson said, because CNN says a spokesperson for the Uganda police force said the officers still at Wine's home will vacate the premises. We are a law-abiding institution and do respect the High Court ruling, he told CNN on Monday. However, I want to take you to this. You know, these people are just talkers. Of course, they have defied court orders ever since they existed. As we speak now, Bobiwine's home is still under siege. The military, the police is still surrounding his place up to now. Actually, he tweeted about it. This is what Kyagulanyi said. Just an hour ago, he said, the High Court ruled this morning that my continued house arrest, 11 days now, is illegal and unconstitutional. Several hours later, the military still surrounds my home, blocking access to all. Perhaps, as always, waiting for General Museveni's orders on the next course of action. There are still very many. There are still very many surrounding the place and checking each and every one who passes by, as in, and of course not allowing in anyone inside Bobiwine's house or anyone to come out of the house. Yeah, basically that is the situation as of now. We don't know when Museveni's militia groups are going to comply, because you can't call that a police, you can't call that a military, you can't call that a law-abiding security organ, because all those institutions have to operate under the Constitution of Uganda, but these guys operate outside the Constitution of Uganda. In brief, are they above the law because the court says this and then they do the total opposite? And then you hear the spokesperson of the police come out to say that unless Kyagulanyi concedes defeat, unless Kyagulanyi declares that he lost, unless Kyagulanyi, denounces defiance, unless Kyagulanyi does so and so and so. Ever since when did it start for you to make those orders? We have to operate under the law. If you respect the law as an organ that is supposed to keep law and order. So, in brief, it is just getting started. They are saying that Kyagulanyi, to go outside Kampala, he has to be escorted by police, by the military, by the army, and all that kind of thing. Do you guys remember very well in the campaigns when we were relaying for those videos, you saw how Kyagulanyi was being escorted by over 30 police patrols and a mobile prison. So, in brief, it's going to be the same kind of script they are going to use. That's why I'm saying it is just getting started. We can't be in this kind of situation forever. No condition is permanent, only that we need to keep pushing, keep doing our best The time is going to come, and very soon this dictatorship is going to fall. But it's not going to just fall by mere lamenting, commenting on social media and doing all that kind of thing. We need to practically act. We need to get our hands dirty in the soil and do the needful. Yes. Yeah. If we don't do that, we are going to live in this kind of life forever. We need to come out and say enough is enough. Very many of our comrades are still in detention centers. Bobiwine's entire team, remember a team that was arrested on the 30th of December 2020, the team that included that is Nubian Lee, Eddie Mutwe, Sadan Magic, Mark, Ricardo, very many comrades, they are still detained in Incommunicado. Those guys are still rotting in jail. And then you hear people talk about MTV, whatever, those musical concerts. Man, this is not the time for such entertainment. This is the time to redirect our country back to the right path. And this is the time. So let me not go very far away from what I came to tell you today about the court ruling and then the defiant police that bashed the court ruling and all that kind of thing. So let's wait and see what's going to transpire. But all I can say to you, the deployment is still heavily there at our president's house. No one is allowed in and no one is allowed out of the house. It is still like it was immediately after Kyagulanyi voted. So that is it. All I can say, push the message further. Peace and love.